What's up, guys? We're here at Ambrosia Orchard, just outside Decatur. I'm here with Edison and Blanca. I'm super excited to be here. It's just going to be a fun conversation, so I'm excited to dive in. So, yeah, I mean, let's just start off with your guys' history. I mean, talk about where you guys came from.
You want me to talk?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Edison grew up on an apple orchard, and when we met, I was very excited. So I grew up in Florida, I grew up in orange groves, and to be able to go out and enjoy fruit fields again was really exciting for me. So I kind of followed his dad around and tried to learn as much as I could, and I wanted to start our own orchard here, and he said, okay, let's make cider and mead as well. I said, no, let's not make cider and mead. Let's have an orchard. And so his grandma talked us into it because you do what grandma says. And now we make cider and mead. And we have a developing orchard of 498 trees.
How old were you guys when you guys met? I didn't realize it went that far back.
In our early 20s.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. So you guys moved here very recently?
I grew up in Noble County, so not too far from here. So my dad's orchard's out in Noble County, Wolf Lake area. And then I've been in Fort Wayne for 10 years now, so.
Gotcha. Can you tell me a little bit about growing up on an orchard, what that was like?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, no breaks really.
Right.
Lots of pruning when we were kids, picking apples, lots of free labor.
Yeah.
And then I also did a lot of farmers markets with my mom. She had a plant nursery as well, so I'd sell plants and sell apples. So I was doing it when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. Started selling farmers markets. So.
When was your first experience with home brewing, this kind of stuff?
Probably started making ciders when I was in my early 20s. My parents and some friends had made cider before that, and it was really, really bad. So I decided to try
really bad, and you were instantly like, I gotta do cider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah, so my first batch was pretty good. It was a dry cider.
Okay.
And I just developed it from there. So.
You wanna try the first one?
Yeah. First one on the list is a mead. It's a Viva Limon. So it's a mead, lower alcohol, 6.5%. It's carbonated. We use lime zest and lime juice, fresh pressed, and agave nectar to sweeten it up a little bit.
So how much of this do you have bottled and ready to carry out, or are all these on tap?
Yeah, everything we have on tap, we can we either have it canned already, or we have a canning machine, so we can can it to order. And then we have 2 bottled meads right now, and a couple of bottled ciders.
Gotcha. And you do like growler and howler fills and all that stuff?
We do everything we fill in the cans to go, so it's a one-time use.
Gotcha.
We have a Opulent Mazer Club we run as well, and we do growlers with that club. We do half-off fills on Thursday, so.
If you want to, go ahead and jump in on the Opulent Mazer Club. Tell people a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a club we have. They're specialty bottles, so for the first 3 months this year, we have the Opulent Currant Sea, so it's our black currant mead. We age it in rye whiskey barrels from Three Rivers Distilling Company. And then next will be April, we'll come out with a blueberry cobbler mead. So it's a very heavily fruited blueberry mead with cinnamon and lots of vanilla.
It's kind of like our test market club. So it's more traditional meads. Right now you have Opulent Currant Sea in the class. So it sits at 13%, so it's a little bit higher ABV. Just really rich in flavor. You get a lot of different taste components to it, and it was something that we decided to do to offer just the true mead drinker traditional mead. And so it's been really fun because our first person who signed up for the club actually was introduced to mead here, and she enjoyed it so much that she went ahead and joined the club. So it's
That's
exciting.
cool.
It's a really fun way to provide traditional meads to those that know them and to those who have now newly experienced them.
Is it sort of like a creative outlet for you as well? I mean,
Yeah,
are you going to be
because
just throwing crazy stuff in there? And
Yeah, they're really small batches. These are already pretty expensive to make, but these are really expensive to make, so it's nice to have a small batch.
Yeah.
and not have to mass produce it. Just have a couple people that, 50 to 100 people that get the bottles, and then they can tell me if they like them or not. So,
How high is your membership right now?
we only have a couple right now. We just started the rolling out membership, so we hope to have
Nice.
a lot of members by the end of the year. So
That's cool. So I was going to ask about opening up the location. I know that was a bit of a process for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
So we've been looking for about a year for a place to start an orchard. I had a couple properties fall through in actually city limits of Fort Wayne, and then when one fell through, we found this place, and we actually talked to the owner of this building because they had a general construction company here about building us a building, and then about 3 months later, they had this building up for sale. So it was a great time. We bought it. And it's a little over 12 acres. Nice building, commercial building. It's only 4 years old. So.
And how big's your orchard right now?
We have about just under 500 trees we planted.
Okay.
We do have about 6 acres in the back, and we have the buildings on another 6 acres with about 4 acres of plantable area. So we have about 10 acres we can potentially plant on right now.
That's cool.
Location was really important to us because we lived just 3 minutes down the road, and there's not a lot of fun avenues in the southeast side of Allen County. So we wanted to start something on the southeast side of Allen County to offer something unique and fun for people in the community to do. And so we get a lot of people from Hoagland and Ossian and Bluffton and all over around. And they're really excited that we're here. And they have been very gracious with us and come out all of the time. We have lots of regulars. And so we're really excited to be a part of the southeast side of Allen County.
And our spot's great too. We're right off 469, just a mile south of 469 on the US 27 exit.
Yeah.
15 minutes from downtown Fort Wayne, 15 minutes from Decatur, 15 minutes from Roanoke. It's even 15 minutes from north side of Fort Wayne. You can take 469. So I think it's one of the best locations we could find.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. How has the Fort Wayne groups and the other, the surrounding groups, how have they, what's been the reception? I mean, it's hard not to kind of toot your own horn here, but how have people been responding to your opening?
Definitely all the locals love it because there wasn't really anything to do before that. And then we're gathering a lot more customers from Fort Wayne as they're learning that we're only 15 minutes from downtown. But we get people that stop in all the time. They just are searching on the internet for meaderies, and they stop in and sit down and have some drinks. So
Well,
we're
that's
really
cool.
excited.
Let's jump on to the second one.
Uh-huh.
But that's kind of a cool thing for you guys specifically is the meadery aspect. There's nothing like it for quite some time. I mean, you got to drive hours to get another meadery, so it's very awesome.
Yeah, and meads we can make all year round. We only use local fruit, and you can only get the fruit at certain times of the year. With honey, it sits in barrels and it lasts for thousands of years. It doesn't go bad, so we can ferment honey any time of the year. So that's one of the big reasons we started making meads. It's a really sustainable thing to make. So
Gotcha. So yeah, let's jump on the second one.
second one's Cerasium. It's a cherry cider. It's local apples. We use Michigan Montmorency cherries. So it's nice and tart. Montmorency is a tart cherry. It's not a sweet cherry. Just try it.
Yeah, let's jump on in.
It's the first quote-unquote flavored cider Edison and made. So the first couple larger batches that he made in our garage.
Yep.
And so he made this one specifically for me. I have a little bit of an emotional tie to it.
Oh, do you? Do you err on the side of drier wines then? Or drier
I like
ciders?
drier ciders are tough
Really?
because they're tart.
Yeah.
A lot of people expect just like a very smooth dry, but with drier ciders, they're tart. And I definitely like a drier mead though. It's just something that's not overwhelmingly sweet, but has a nice complex flavor to it. So, and I like the taste of honey. So being able to play with the different varieties of honey and the different seasons of honey. A lot of people don't realize there's different seasons of spring blossom honey and summer blossom and an autumn blossom honey. And they come from different regions as well. So it's fun to play with them and just try a traditional mead and give it a taste.
before we had talked about your focus on local and supporting the local community. Can you explain a little bit about how you source local ingredients?
So all of our apple cider that we get is all locally produced. We press some of it ourselves. For example, Gold Rush cider that we produce is all pressed by us. And then we work with local orchards to also get fresh pressed cider. So all of our cider is fresh from Indiana. And then any ingredients that we use within our ciders and meads, we try to get local as well. So the ginger and the Beauregarde is local. And we did Seneca, which had 100 pounds of local strawberries. Our blueberry cobbler will have local blueberries in it. So we just have a lot of fun with working with local farmers and producers to make meads and ciders that have local ingredients.
So you mentioned blueberry cobbler. Can you go in a little bit about that? Talk about that's going to be releasing, or?
That should be releasing sometime in the middle of April.
Okay.
And that's to be released to our Opulent Meadery Club members first. Then 3 months later, it'll be released to the general public. But that's it's a heavily fruited mead, lots of blueberries. We load it with lots of whole vanilla bean, and cinnamon.
That sounds pretty good, to be honest.
Yep.
As a mead and cider making expert, can you talk a little bit about the process? I mean, it's unique into and of its own. So just talk a little bit about that.
Ciders. It's a pretty simple process. Press the apples, you get juice. You add yeast to that juice. You can add different fruits as well. It just ferments out, and then a couple of weeks later, you have cider, hard cider. And then there's some clarification as well. You do after that. Let it sit for several weeks. You can add different fruits to it after it's fermented as well to give you different flavors. And then with meads, you're blending warm water with honey. You get it dissolved. For fruited meads, we add most of our fruit up front. So it ferments the fruit and the honey together. So you kind of have a blend of a fruit wine and a mead together. Ferment it. Meads can take anywhere from 2 weeks to several months to ferment.
I've heard meads are kind of notorious for needing time to sit.
Yeah, if you make them right, they don't need a whole lot of time to sit, but some of them do take longer to ferment just because of the acidity or the lack of nutrients. And sometimes you want to ferment really slow, you get more fruity characters from it. If you let it ferment slow, cold, and the yeast has a big impact as well as how long it takes to ferment. So I like to use I don't like to use very aggressive yeast. I like to use white wine or red wine yeast, which ferment pretty slowly. So I don't use like the champagne yeast or ale yeast, which would ferment.
You're not trying to hit those super high numbers. You're just trying to get.
It'll hit those numbers eventually, and you'll get better flavor out of it when you
Okay.
ferment it slower. So
Makes sense. Do you want to go for the third one?
yeah, third one's Harper. It's a cherry mead, and it is dry hopped with 3 different hops: Citra, Mosaic, and Eldorado hops.
Okay, so Harper is fun because it's dry hopped with 3 different types of hops, Citra, Mosaic, and Eldorado. And the best part about mead is that it's fermented and it's not brewed like a beer would be brewed. So you're getting all those characteristics of the hops, the floralness of them, kind of that citrusy, fruity flavor, without any of the bitterness that you would typically get in an IPA or beers that are hopped. So you get like just a nice aroma with it. That one is also nice because you get all 3. You get the honey taste, you get the cherry taste, and you get the hops. So sometimes it turns people into hops fans. Sometimes.
Well, you mentioned that this is your beer converter.
Yeah.
Like, I love craft beer. Well, then you should probably try this one.
Yeah, it's not a sweet mead at all. It's more on the drier side, and it does have a lot of hop aroma, hop flavor. So
As far as drinks that you created,
Yeah.
before opening Ambrosia, after opening Ambrosia, do you have a favorite? And you can maybe the Cerasium? Do you guys have favorites?
I did before we opened. I did several batches. Did a batch of the Cerasium in our garage. And I did a batch of Beauregarde, and I also did a dry hopped cider, all in our garage. And probably her favorites, the Beauregarde. What was your favorite?
Speak for me. No, I think the Opulent Currant Sea is my favorite.
Before we opened. What was your
Before we
favorite?
opened?
Yeah.
The Cerasium.
Yeah. So that's one I kind of developed for her taste, and
What
so
about
it's really popular too.
What about the public? I mean, has the public said anything about what their favorite one is?
Yeah, probably the public's favorite is for the meads is definitely the Currant Sea. It's the black currant mead,
Yeah.
and I think their favorite cider is probably probably a mix between the Beauregarde and the Cerasium, depending on what they like. Some people don't like cherries at all, and some people don't like ginger. So, but they don't like ginger. They like the Cerasium. If they don't like cherries, they like the Beauregarde.
Cool. Do you want to talk about the next one?
Yeah, the next one is
Spring
Spring Brut. It's a traditional mead. It's carbonated. It's off-dry mead. It doesn't have a lot of sweetness, but it has a touch of sweetness. It's not fermented completely dry. That one's fermented really slow, really cold.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of the character, like sticking your head in a hive. So, yeah, sure. It's 10% alcohol, so it's not too heavy, but it'll get you if you drink too much of it. So.
It's made with a spring blossom honey, so we only use spring blossom honey. That's why it's springtime brew, and it just kind of gives it that lightness.
It's very light, and it's very not sweet, not dry. It's somewhere in the middle.
This is one of the ones we make a lot of, call them mead mimosas. They're made with mead instead of champagne, but yeah, people love them. They have private events here. They have mimosa bars. And
I did not know that was a thing.
Yep.
So orange juice and all the other good stuff.
Yep,
and
orange juice, pineapple juice, anything you want. We have a little bit of freeze-dried raspberry powder we can put on there too.
I think you caught me. I think you snared me in on that one for Sunday afternoons.
Oh yeah.
Last time we talked, you had mentioned potentially growing your orchard and some ideas around that. Can you talk a little bit about the future of Ambrosia, where you see this going?
Yeah, I think she can explain it pretty
Okay.
well.
So when we planted our trees, I was very excited. I think our overall concept started with wanting to restore Heritage Farm. We still have dreams to do that. When we planted the orchard, we wanted to have agritourism, a spot for families to come enjoy one another, and it's nice because we can add the cider and mead on top of that. So you can drink on all 12 acres when you come out. So if you want to walk the orchard, you can walk the orchard or check out the chickens and the chicken coop, or just kind of meander around the property. When we planted the orchard, we planted it specifically for you pick and entertaining. So we have a 75-foot space that we're going to put a stage in, as well as there's a large opening throughout the center of the orchard to put a gazebo to invite people in to come and enjoy one another. To the right, our orchard to the right is a you pick, and it's been planted specifically for growing times. So when families come, they're able to go and pick a ripe apple and enjoy one another out in the orchard. And then on the left side, we have all of our cider apples planted. So they won't get one of those bitter sharp cider apples when they're out for you pick, because we planted it specifically to meet the needs of our guests and also our cider making.
Awesome. I told my wife about that after we talked about it last time, because I thought it was so cool. Like the idea of doing an outdoor in the orchard, like just everything that you can do out there. You touched on it a little bit. So I didn't know prior to our last conversation that there was a difference between mead making or cider making apples and the typical apple you get in a grocery store. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so eating apples is kind of a new thing in history, so maybe 100 years old or less even. Before people ate apples, they actually pressed them and made cider. And cider is alcoholic. The cider apples that they used to make were not sweet. They weren't that sweet. They didn't have a lot of flavor fresh, but when you fermented them, that's when the flavors came out.
Yeah.
So cider apples will typically have more tannin. They'll be higher in sugar. They'll be higher in acid, and a blend of those makes a really good cider apple. So there's some single variety ciders you can do that have all three, or you can do blends. But to go out and eat one of those apples, it's not going to taste good. So they've been
alternatively, what happens when you ferment a typical apple? Does it turn like
the flavor? It does have good flavor, but it doesn't have the complexity as like a cider apple would have. So it's kind of the same as grapes. So they're grape varieties. Like when you get a wine, the name of that wine is the grape variety that they use to make that wine. So, and then you have grapes in the grocery store, like a Concord grape or a white grape. Those are eating grapes. So you wouldn't make wine with those. It's the same thing with apples. So you wouldn't make a single variety red delicious cider, even though that's a popular eating apple.
Gotcha. Something I also wanted to just touch on is your guys' labels, which I think is pretty cool. How you source that from different artists. Can you talk a little about that too?
So we get excited. We have local artists that pop up in the barn. We like to put local art up in the barn. Right now we have Alex Hall's work up. And we kind of been trying to work with some local artists within the community to provide art to put on our labels. Right now, I think most of our label art is coming from Matt Allier. Did I say that right? It's a difficult one to say.
Okay.
And they have done a fabulous job on our labels. They work with us really well. We're excited to celebrate their 1-year anniversary with them next month. So it has been really fun to meet with local artists and kind of get that design work done. And they take our visions and put them into picture. And it's been a lot of fun.
We have a new batch of Currant Sea that we're going to bottle. Probably next week. We have a new label from Atelier as well. It's an awesome label. So
That's cool.
really excited for everyone to see it. So
Gotcha. You want to move on to our last one on the official flight?
Yep. Last one is the Beauregarde. It's another fan favorite. So this is a blueberry. It's a blueberry cider with ginger. We get from a local farmer. We use 10 pounds of ginger in each batch.
I enjoy that one. I'm enjoying the subtlety through all your, there's nothing that's just blatantly sweet like you're gonna get blown off your.
Yeah, I really like dry ciders, but most people in the area are more on the sweeter side. But we do make we don't make anything super sweet. People don't realize that they actually like stuff on the drier side until they try it. So.
So before we get into them, is that your favorite too, or do you like that one?
I do like this one. I love ciders, but meads have my heart.
Yeah.
We get to play around with them a lot. I'm really excited. The Spring Blossom Honey is my favorite. So I have my own little carboy of that going so I can start manipulating with some floral different things. So I want to try something with lavender, something with some elderflower.
I'm liking it.
Yes.
Liking it. So you're the brewer or the
Mead maker,
mead
cider
maker.
maker, yep.
There you go. And then you're more on the marketing side, but do you do anything with the helping out with the process?
I tell them what to do.
She's a taste tester.
Okay.
I do like to taste it a lot, even if it's not, for example, Harper. I do not enjoy to drink Harper. I don't enjoy hops, but to be able to have all of those different flavor profiles in there, I was excited to be able to taste that and kind of help with that process. And we do a lot of market research, to see what other mead makers are doing. We get to enjoy meeting other mead makers and just sharing. We always try to take a product with us to share, and then we always get a flight or two to try different things and just kind of meet and enjoy our time spent with other mead makers as well. So it's fun to be able to taste test.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to move into some floral.
A lot of times if I'm working and people come in and they're here for an hour or two, they'll usually end up getting a sample out of the fermenter. Something that's fermenting currently or almost done. I let them try it and see what they think. So
That's kind of cool.
Get a lot of feedback from locals, and just that way, by pulling something that we're working on and saying, hey, what do you think? And we have a local who works, I guess I should say regulars. And we have a regular who works for us now. So
really?
We're really excited about that.
That's cool. You guys are growing.
We have had a lot of great feedback on what you would call a still mead. So it's not a mead that you would get on draft. It's a mead that we offer bottled. Currant Sea has just taken off. We expected to only make a small batch of it, and now we're using our large fermenters to produce batches. We also had a lot of feedback on our Heldsker woman. We've decided to kind of move forward and do still mead flights as well. So you can come in now and get a flight just like you had today of everything that we have on draft, but here soon we're going to be offering still mead flights as well. So that's just really we're going to try to appeal to the traditional mead drinker, have some different meads that we have that are bottled and have those available on a flight as well to kind of see what you like and then be able to take it home in a bottle as well.
That's cool.
So you can take everything home on draft in a can, and then you'll be able to take anything home in a bottle as well and be able to sample that before you take it home.
That's really cool.
And all of our bottled meads are going to have, all of our canned ciders and meads also, they have really awesome artwork, so really great. Makes really great gifts or just hang up on your shelf after you drink it, so you don't have to throw the bottle away because it looks so nice.
I'm pretty guilty of bottle collecting, so that's not,
Yeah.
That's cool. So let's jump on to our last one here.
Yep, last one is the Opulent Currant Sea. So it's a heavily fruited mead. It's a black currant, honey. That one used autumn blossom honey. And then it's barrel aged in rye whiskey barrels from Three Rivers Distillery.
How did that partnership start there? I mean, was it just like,
They had
hey, let me get some barrels from you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed their spirits, and they had a couple barrels for sale one day. They had 5-gallon barrels. Bought a few of them, did some test batches, and then now I'm using their 15-gallon barrels. And I've also got to know the Cooper, who's actually builds the barrels right here in Fort Wayne. So the oak is a 3-year air season oak. Makes really good whiskey, and it makes really good mead as well when you age that in the barrel. So
Yeah, that's cool. No, it tastes delicious.
Kind of fits well into that local model as well. So Ann Gray Cooperage is the barrel maker, and then we have the Rivers Distilling that does the distilling in the barrels, and then we're able to go from there. So it's been a lot of fun.
Is Fort Wayne pretty, I'm trying to think how to phrase it. Are they pretty receptive of these kind of partnerships? I mean, is everyone very helpful? And I know you guys are a new company, so having those kinds of connections, I'm sure, is helpful.
Oh yeah, for sure. Everyone's been really supportive. So we work together. We have a Northern Indiana Beer Trail. Even though it's a beer trail, they want us to be on it. So
that's cool.
And then we do some events together. We did a festival last year. It was a Barrel Age Festival. We're part of that. So
it's cool. Those guys better watch out with your barrel aged stuff this year.
Yeah.
This was what the Currant Sea, Opulent Currant Sea is what we featured for the Barrel Age Festival.
That's what I originally made it for.
So we had a lot of really great feedback on it there too. We're very humbled. We're very humbled to be received so well by our community and received so well by those within the beverage making community as well. And so it's been an amazing experience. We haven't even been open for 2 years yet, and we're so excited to keep growing, and people banging down the doors again is very humbling. So we're excited to keep doing what we're doing.
Gotcha. And so you guys don't do food here, but you do bring food trucks around. How's that work?
Yep, food trucks in the summer. We have food trucks on every Saturday, I think, last year during the summertime, and we got a pretty good schedule lined up for this year as well. Nice. And then we hope to have food service in here by the end of the year this year too, so we'll go through winter.
So anything else you want to leave the viewer with? I mean, it's up to you guys.
We're really humbled to have be a part of our community, and we do lots of community events. We're trying to do some things regularly. We have a bingo night the last Friday of every month. We have different pop-up events. We're excited to be able to do pop-up markets once a month once the weather gets warm, and we do vinyl nights. Most of our events are free, so it's just a great time for the entire family to come out. So we're all ages all the time, and so bring the family out, enjoy
bands
events.
This year too.
Oh yes. Well, we had the debutantes out. That was exciting. We're gonna have a new band called the Jackson Vibe. So we're excited to have some more people out.
We'll get the doors open. You can walk the property and listen to music, drink. have some food from a food truck. So awesome time.
And you guys got a patio, so it's going to be awesome to be outside and doing
Yep.
that.
And the kids can run the field or just check out the chickens and yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Real quick.